Maria Fernandez, I'll be your certified nursing assistant. Excuse me while I wash my hands. May I see your name band? Okay, Miss May, I'm going to help you with Pericare. If they don't know what that is, you say I'm just going to help freshen you up and wash all part of your genitalia, your privates, whatever. Okay, okay. So now I'm going to get my equipment. My equipment is going to be 3 chucks. 1 to lay the equipment on, 2 more chucks, 1 that I'm going to put underneath the person immediately to get them off the wet chuck, and 1 to put them on after I finish that. The basin, 4 washcloths.
4 or 3?
4. 2 for the front, 2 for the back. It makes it simpler.
Okay.
Unless you're going to remember that the rinse cloth,
4 washcloths?
4 washcloths. 2 for the front, 2 for the back. The way it's written in your packet, it says use the rinse cloth for the perineal area to become the washcloth for the buttocks. Keep it simple. 2 for the front, 2 for the back. Okay? So now, you're going to need gloves. Does anybody have their gloves from the first day, or the second, or the third day? So we're going to have to get gloves. If you did? Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, I'm going to turn on my faucet. Fold it in half. Turn on the cold. Turn on the hot. This can stay here. I fill my basin. Please listen. How far do you fill your basin?
2/3.
Yeah, 2/3. Close. Close. This is still good. I leave it here. I'm just putting a little bit of water in here because what's the point of taking that much time to fill it up? Okay? So you're going to feel it. I'm going to lock my wheels, raise my bed, screen for privacy, put on my gloves. I'm going to turn the person on their side and get them off the wet chuck. So this is done on the dummy. I'm going to cross your legs and turn you 1, 2, 3. You're turning the person and you're rolling the chuck in on itself so that the dry part, the blue part, is up. I'm getting the chuck and I'm putting it in half and laying it next to the person, the rolled up chuck. And I'm going to uncover her so you see what I do. I'm just turning her towards me a little bit. I'm bringing away the wet chuck and bringing through the fresh chuck. Do I pass it over her head?
No.
No, so you're going to bring it down. You're going to use your common sense. This goes into the biohazard stuff. Now I'm going to drape the person with a bath blanket. Now for partial bed bath, we did it this way, right? Halfway and open it this way. For this, we're going to have the opening to the top part of the body. And we're going to lift the sheet and bring it down. And now fan fold it down to the foot of the bed. So she's covered. I'm going to raise the leg that's furthest away from me first, because if somebody's very tall and I raise their leg here, then I'm going to have to lean over, so it doesn't make sense. Okay, so the leg that's furthest away first, and then I'm going to bend this leg. Again, you don't pick up the leg like this, you always support it. So this is going to be the thing that flips back and forth. So she's covered until I get my washcloth wet, wring it. What do I do next?
Make a mist.
No, add soap throughout the washcloth, right? The hand that's closest to the foot is the one that's going to have the mitt. It doesn't matter. You're gonna work both hands. You lift it up and you go straight down the middle. You flip the washcloth and you go down one side of the labia. This hand is using to separate the labia, so you can see what you're doing.
You have to put behind the...
Just, yeah. what you're doing. You bring down, then you're going to turn your hand around. You use this side. Now for the other side of the labia, you're using the backhand. You cover the person. This can go directly into the hamper. Rinse cloth, same thing. You rinse, wring, wrap. It's a little bulky. You go down, and some people do it this way. Some people just uncover like an envelope flap. It doesn't really matter as long as the person is covered. You go down the middle. You're going to flip the washcloth. So this is clean and this is clean. This one area is going down one side of the labia. You backhand it down the other side of the labia. You cover. Whoops. It's a very flimsy little towel. Hamper. Do I take a big wad to wash a little area like that? No. You're going to take a section of the towel and pat dry. Okay? That goes to the side. I'm going to bring the legs down. And I'm coming around to this side so you can see what I'm doing. I would have stayed on this side with my equipment right next to me. But this is just so you can see. Now I'm going to ask the person to turn over, cross her legs, and cross her arms, and on the count of 1, 2, and 3, I turn her. We're going to work together so you're not going to have such a hard time keeping the dummy over. Wet my washcloth? Okay.
Down it goes.
Her arm has to be straight out, then she'll stay. Wet it, wring it.
Put soap.
My soap here. Soap throughout. And now you're simply going to make a mitt. And you're cleaning the buttocks. The buttocks has been in wetness, right? Urine. So you're going to make like a U. You can backhand it, right? This already has some urine on it because I wiped it, so you can use the backhand. And then the last one, you simply raise the buttocks just like you clean a baby's behind, and you clean the rectal area and the gluteus fold. You're not going up the back. You're just cleaning the rectal area and the gluteus fold. Rinse the same way. U-shape, rectal area. That's all the state board requires. When you're cleaning somebody, you may have to go back and change the water. That's the reality. But for the state board, that's simply the process. You pat dry. What's happened to this washcloth?
Wet.
It's gotten wet, possibly. So I'm going to roll it towards the midline. And the last chuck is lined here. Turn the person on their back. Turn her towards me a little bit. Bring this away. Bring through the clean chuck. I'm not hearing it. Trash. Excuse me, if you're calling, call outside. Trash. She's covered. I'm going to bring up the blanket and bring down the towel. This goes into the hamper. The state board says if we have our gloves on, we still have to use a barrier. You empty this, you turn on your faucet, you're going to rinse your equipment, disinfect it.
Wow.
paper towel to dry it. Outside, inside. Why do we really want to dry well? Yeah, bacteria grows in moist, dark areas, plus it attracts roaches, mice. The state board says if we have our gloves on, we have to, after disinfecting, use a barrier to hold it, or either remove our gloves and wash our hands to put the equipment away. And yes, Latoya, I see your eyes going wide because you said, I just handled it while I was cleaning the basin. It doesn't make that much sense, but the state board says if you have your gloves on, you have to use a barrier to hold the equipment after you clean it, to reduce the amount of contamination, I guess. So you're holding it, and you open up the drawer with a paper towel, because otherwise you're touching it with perineal fluid, right? I come back.
You can't take off the gloves and then take.
You can. You can. If you want to do that, you can. You can remove your gloves, wash your hands, but that's one more hand. Well, it's a hand washing out of sequence, but it's fine. You can. So this goes into the trash. How do we remove our gloves? Jacob, how do we remove our gloves? From where? Yeah, here.
And then
You pull it off, 2 fingers underneath, overlap. Here, we're going to save these gloves forever. You dispose of them, but here, you wash your hands, then you come back and you fix the sheets. You make sure the person's comfortable. Miss May, here's your call bell. Can you reach it? Yes, I lock my wheels. I lower the bed. I unscreen.
wash your hand.
And I wash my hands because I've touched things in the environment, and you can't avoid it, that are somewhat contaminated, right? We want to reduce the amount of exposure, but things in a patient's environment, you want to decontaminate before you leave someone's environment. Okay? Over here, we have our sink, because we don't have the luxury of having 2 sinks. So right here is our bootleg sink.
Hey baby, I miss you.
This is the mother.